Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Life in HD, where we have special guests come on and chat with us about human design in real life. And if you're new to this channel, I'm your host, Crystal Alferrero. I'm a human design guide and founder of the Human Design Academy. And today we have a real human design treasure with us. Her name is Annie Richardson. She's a 5-1 reflector on the left angle cross of distraction, and she's also host of the Reflector Reflections Podcast. So you're going to have to check that out. So of course, we get to hear all about what it's really like to be a reflector and soak in all of her lovely wisdom today, straight from a reflector herself. So welcome, Annie. Thank you so much for being here. How are you?
Hello, and thank you so very much
I
for
love it.
having me on this show and, experiencing my sampling of you and you sampling of me.
Of course, I love it. And I guess for everyone who has not, had the luxury of coming across your work and coming across your energy today, I would love if you could just give us a little intro into who you are and what you do.
A couple of years ago, I started a Reflector podcast because I was a little bit tired of the misinformation that was around about reflectors. I've been navigating my unique design for a while now and experiencing different things and navigating through, I don't know, my tracking and everything else. And I just got to the point of going, where are all the other reflectors in the world? If we're the 1% and there's millions of people on this planet, where are my 1%? So I went finding them and I have found them. I have found them through this podcast, and I like to explore our journeys that get us to where we are through that podcast. And also it helps heal me and where I've navigated my life to now through that journey.
That's beautiful. And I love what you're doing to really amplify reflector voices, because it's so true. We don't know very many in the human design space. I don't know too many in my personal life. And for you to be able to create this community for us to see and get to witness and, experience, I think that's beautiful. And, that's one of the reasons why I feel lucky to have you and to also have had a chance to have another reflector on this series. I was going to say podcast, but it's something that I feel like, there is a lot of misinformation about reflectors because we don't have a lot, I'm going to say information. We don't have a lot of others out there. And so it really is a privilege to have you on the show, Annie, and thank you. And I'm going to be like interrogating you today, but gently, of course. And so I guess to
Thank
talk
you
more
so
about.
much for that, because I actually found you because of the reflector that you had on. It was just something that came into my orbit and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was so wonderful to listen to him speak. And thank you for honoring us, and thank you for inviting us on to share our voice, because we don't often get that airtime, I suppose, with the last slide on the carousel.
Oh, I mean, it's a special thing. I always call you the unicorns, and I feel like everyone else does too. So we're very lucky to have you. But tell us a bit more about your journey with human design. What brought you to human design and how has it impacted your life?
Honestly, it has been one of the most profound things that has ever happened to me. And I'm in my late 4th decade. I've been on this earth for a while now. And, I've done a lot of things. But when I found this, it was just like next level. It was like, oh my gosh, I could finally stop. It literally like stopped me in my tracks and went, can you see yourself right here, right in front of you? This is who you are. This is who you've always been. And it has led me to years now of profound healing, rapid healing. So it was huge. It came to me through a friend, like most things. It's just like, have you heard of this? Have you, what's your design? And like most people, it's very much like, well, plug it in and then you see all those white boxes or squares and triangles, and you're like, well, I don't know what this means. And then the more you get into it, you're like, oh, I'm so different. And then you also, you get the little tagline that says you are 1%. And it's just like, oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this journey that I think a lot of reflectors go on when they find this. It's transformational because we've always felt a little bit peculiar in different ways. So when you see that, it's just like, holy crap, this is profound.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned, you've always felt a little peculiar, a little different from everyone else around you. And so what was your childhood like being a young reflector, in a world where, again, like we're all kind of taught to be the same in some ways. So how was that for you?
And I've really explored this recently because my father has just recently passed away, and he is also a reflector. So I've been on a big journey over the last few months of really exploring myself through his lens, as well as me exploring him. And the first 4 to 5 years of my life, we lived on a dairy farm. And so I was free as a bird, and life was magnificent. Like, even looking back, I can smell it. But coming out of that farm and coming back into the city and starting school, it was a very much of a push-pull back and forth of just going, oh, what is this in my body? Like, what is this change that I'm feeling? And that was when I started being impacted by other people. So my early years, the first part of my life was quite easy and free-flowing. But then I started getting caught in that, and the chameleon aspect of my personality or my body started kicking in, where I didn't really know who I was anymore because I wanted to fit in with other people. So that started that journey of just going, well, if I act like this and I do that, then I'll be accepted. And if I do that and I do that, I'll be accepted. So it was a very early phase in my life of starting that process.
I can imagine. And with your dad also being a reflector, was it natural for you? And did he model, taking your time to move through life and, maybe sense your environment and, again, like take your time in making these big decisions? Was that something natural for you?
Yeah. So my father was a reflector and my mother was a projector. My mother is a 2-4 projector. My father, I'm fairly certain he's a 6-2, but we're not certain of the birth time. We know roughly when it was, but there was a huge window. So we know that definitely a reflector. Yeah. But they were always slow. It was me. It was always me that wanted to speed them up. It was just like, come on, we got things to do. Why are you still in bed? What's going on? There was always this me. It was always me. I was the problem, Taylor Swift. I'm the problem. It's me. So, yeah. And, looking back, and we've joked about this over the last few years of just going, he always sort of like said to me, just wait, it'll come. He knew without even knowing that that's what he was always just like, why are you rushing so much? Just wait. It's in, and I'm like,
that 6-2 wisdom.
Yeah. And so it was always there.
Oh, that's amazing. And so it wasn't really until, I'm assuming, actually, let me know if this is something that you've experienced, but was it when you went into, I'm going to say like the working world, maybe in school, is that where most of the conditioning that you experienced in your lifetime, is that where it came from, or?
Oh, definitely. The early years of school, especially my teens, not feeling, I've got a completely open G center. So it's very, it's been a huge thing in my life of not really knowing where I end and others began.
Mhm.
So feeling like I needed to sort of sample everything and then taking that on, like picking up different sports or picking up different like hobbies because my friends were doing it. It was
Mhm.
always, or accents or,
Yeah, I can
just,
imagine.
it was like I should have been an actor, but I wasn't. I don't have the temperament for that. But it was very much, a part of me was just like, I should act because I'm really good at mimicking somebody else. But
Mhm.
even watching TV, too much shows on TV, I would just start being these people. And it's just like, what?
I
Who
can
am
imagine.
I?
I can imagine you walking out to the store one day all of a sudden with an American accent. Does that ever, has that, like, have you experienced that with, not really noticing, but all of a sudden your accent's changed?
Yeah. If I'm around people, especially in my working career over, the course of the years, if I'm working with Americans, if I'm working with the English, all of a sudden I will start changing my accent and I'll start talking like this, and I will just, that's not American, by the way, that was British, but it
Yeah.
just changes, or my mannerisms will change. And all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, that's not me, that's them. Or if I'm even sampling people, even now, all of these
Mhm.
years later, if I'm really invested in somebody and I really like them and I'm watching and I'm listening to whatever it is, a course or something like that,
Yeah.
I will start using their mannerisms, like
Oh,
even the way
wow.
they flick. And it's because I'm literally like absorbing, not that's a bad terminology,
I
but
totally get it though.
yeah,
It makes
I'm
sense.
I'm I'm like, I am you right now.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
met your frequency right here, and that's what we're having. We're having a moment.
I'm sure it makes life interesting, and you get to play and experiment with so many different roles and ways of being. And I don't know, I feel like that's really cool and that's a lot of fun, right? In so many
I
different
don't know.
ways.
When I was younger, and even throughout all this time, it wasn't fun because
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really know what I
Yeah, I can see that.
was or what I wanted. It's
Mhm.
fun now because I can go, oh, there's that old, and I can literally get rid of my meat suit, for lack of better words, and just flick it away.
Yeah.
But growing up, it was just like I didn't really understand who I was. So it was challenging in a
Yeah.
good way, but
Yeah.
challenging in a bad way.
I totally get that. I also have a undefined G center. And so identity crisis was my entire teenage, even like early adulthood, and up until maybe I found human design, right? So it took a really long time to just accept that I was so many different things. And I'm sure, like for you, it's on a different level, especially with that completely open G center. And so, with a lot of, well, with all the openness that we have in your chart, what would you say is the biggest super I was going to say superhero, no, superpower for reflectors, or at least in your experience?
That's a good one. I honestly, me 4 years ago, I would have said it's the fact that I can, like, I have a huge bullshit meter. I can tell everything. Me now, it's very much, it's my sensitivity. My
Mhm.
sensitivity is my superpower. It is the complete surrender to this openness and
Mhm.
being able to allow everything to flow through me and not stick.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, but it takes time to get there. Yeah.
And so what does that feel like, having that Teflon aura? Because I know for a lot of people, before becoming aware of this part of their nature, um, it becomes hard to discern. It's like, is this me, or is this coming from outside of me? And so how have you learned to discern what that feels like for you?
It's the mind likes to tap into something and it pulls on a memory or an emotion. But once you bypass the mind and the emotions, it's like a flick. And
Mm.
it's like all of a sudden, the Teflon aura, how can I put this into words? it's like I can sit there and be absorbed in an emotion, and I could be, for example, crying and oh my God, I'm so sad. And then the next minute it's just like flick. And it's like, it's gone.
Oh, wow.
It's, and that's how I like to describe it, because it's like, I'm actually really not feeling it. It's just my mind attaching to an emotion or a memory and pulling at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
But I really am not that emotion or thing. So I don't really connect. And I know this is hard for people to accept, but it's just like I don't connect to things or people or beings or whatever like other people do.
Yeah.
And when I sit there and I say to reflectors, can you truly tell me that you can? They won't connect like other people do. There's a level of detachment.
Right.
Bit hard to accept, but it is true. There is a level, and it's that's our buffer, I suppose. That's the aura. It's we come in and touch you, and then we're gone.
Yeah. And do you feel like there's a level of guilt that some reflectors feel for not, attaching in the same way as maybe other types might?
Well, I've got guilt motivation, so there's that. Yes, I feel there is a true sense of what is wrong with me. Not so much guilt, but what is wrong with me that I'm loving, nurturing, but at the same time very detached. And the more you're in this experiment, the more you feel it, that there is reflectors get spoken about as being the observer. And the longer you're in it and the more you decondition, there is this aspect of us that is very much a detached observer. So the guilt, yes, because it's just like, why can't I sort of like really go in and get absorbed in this moment because I'm seeing it up here and out here. But it's also like, again, detachment. It's just like, oh, well, that's the way it is.
It is what it is.
I am the program.
Yeah. And I feel like I can relate to that, not in the same way, same level as you might, but I can totally relate to that in the way that, I have my two channels are both collective channels. They're not, they're not tribal. They're not all about that support. I'm also a right angle and I'm a 1-3. So there's a level of, I'm going to say, detachment in that as well, like being very, I'm going to say, introspective, being in my own process and, being social, but to a level only so that I'm like able to share the things that I want to share. Right. So it almost made me feel, I'm going to say, like guilty growing up because both of my parents were on the left angle cross of informing. They're both very like tribal in nature as well, all about supporting the family. And I felt like there was something wrong with me because I was not like that. And learning about human design, it just helps you see things a lot more neutrally and accept them. And it's not to say that you're not capable of love. It's not saying that you're not, you're not meant for certain things and you're not meant to support people, but it's just going to look different in the way that you do it and the way that you connect to people. Right. And you feel a lot less, I don't know if guilty is the word about it, but it's what you said. It's just being able to see it for what it is. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I've always joked and I've said, if I wanted to be any other type in the world, I would always choose to be a 1-3. Always. I love that first line of mine. And I love, I do. It's just like, give me everything to read, everything to do, everything to research. I know. It's just like, gimme.
Yes. It's like our candy. Oh, I love it. And I wanted to talk a bit about environment because, we always hear about how important environment is for reflectors, for your health, for the opportunities that come up, for everything. And so, first of all, what does it mean for you what the right environment looks like? How do you know when you're in the right environment for you?
Oh, now that I'm in this experiment for a while, I feel it in my body, but I didn't always. And in the wrong environment for me back in my heyday was very much I was caught and thrown. I literally felt like I was in a washing machine, because it would be like I'm kind of thrown this way and that way, and I didn't know where I was, and I have all these feelings and all these thoughts and all these kind of jumbledness in my brain. Whereas now, when I'm in the right environment, I feel very wholesome
Mm-hmm.
and I feel very stable. I've got a completely open head center. So
Mm-hmm.
if I'm in the wrong environment, I find that I get caught in a whole wishy-washiness of just going, "Ooh."
Yeah.
But when I'm in the right environment, it's just like I can hold my thoughts. Like right now, I can hold my thoughts. I can honor that this is me. I am Annie. Annie's
Mm-hmm.
here. Annie's present. And I'm in my body. And my
Mm-hmm.
body's not getting thrown around in a washing
Yeah.
machine.
Oh.
Is a weird analogy, but it feels home.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like I'm not fighting for attention. I'm not fighting against myself. I'm not fighting my thoughts. I just am. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
I'm completely centered in this now moment.
Yeah.
I like to use the word now moments. And if I'm not in a now moment, then I know that something's not quite right. I
Mm-hmm.
also have observed through my open centers all of the emotions of every other type. So as
Mm-hmm.
I traverse my lunar cycle, I know that if I'm angry,
Mm-hmm.
something's happening. Obviously, if
Yeah.
it's not my anger, if I'm bitter, something's happening. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
frustrated, something's happening. And if I'm disappointed, and I always ask myself, what is that? That's when I know I'm not in alignment. And I look in my environment
Yeah.
using that to go, what is happening in this environment? And if
Mm.
I'm feeling this bitterness all of a sudden, and I'm like, okay, well, what projectors are in my field that are feeling that, or what generators are in my space that are probably feeling very frustrated?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me? Is it them? And I step back. So I learned to sort of like use the power of discernment
Yeah.
in the environment that I'm in to pinpoint where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh. I mean, it makes total sense. What you know, when I love what you mentioned around like it feeling like home. And I feel like so many people can also relate to that when we ask, what kind of environment should I be in? And the way that you described it, it's like there's just this peace I can imagine that you might feel, right? And, you know, I, going into more of the decision making process for reflectors, um, I think one thing that there's probably a lot of misconception on, especially when, reflectors first come to human design, is that decision-making strategy for reflectors, waiting a lunar cycle, lunar authority. And so what does it kind of gets a little scary at first for some reflectors because they're like, what, I have to wait a lunar cycle before I can do something? Like, what does that mean? And so how would you describe the day-to-day decision-making as a reflector?
Well, I have learnt through all these years now to not wait 28 days. Um, and I've done it all. I've waited and waited and waited and waited and marked it on the calendar and gone, right, I'm making a decision. I'm going to put it here. It's the 1st of September, and I'm not going to look at this decision again until the 28th.
Mhm.
That's not the point. And I joke about this as well. I have, through this course, learned that my decision-making process is about me. And sometimes I need to soundboard it out. I'm graced, beautifully graced, that I have a 2-4 generator partner and who is literally my sounding board, who I
Mhm.
trust so much. I think you need to find somebody in your life that you can trust and say, right, here it comes.
Mhm.
Blah, 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 blah. It is learned over the years to just shut up.
Mhm.
And because I will always come back to it myself, because it's like the reverberation back into the ear canal.
Mhm.
So sometimes I really need to, other times I need to type it out
Mhm.
to just hear or see my own voice. Sometimes I need to sound record. Other times I do need to wait longer, and honoring that, because when you first discover human design as a reflector and you are told you need to wait a lunar cycle, it can be like, are you kidding? What is this craziness?
Mhm.
But there's a reason for it, and there is something to it. And the more you do it, the more you understand that through the course of the month, you are traversing all of the gates through your body. And it becomes a part of your process to be able to traverse that and go, oh, dum, 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 dum. Like you feel it, and it
Mhm.
feels slow. But it's not, because you've already experienced it in your body. You're just allowing time to catch up.
Yeah.
So for really big decisions, yes, sometimes even what other people might perceive as small decisions, you need to allow that process to sort of play out. But the more I feel that you're in your design, the easier it gets
Mhm.
to understand, again, what I was saying earlier, where I end and other people begin. And I understand me,
Mhm.
so I can trust my decision-making process because I've taken years to feel me,
Mhm.
if
It's
that makes
very,
sense. Yeah.
yeah, very experiential. Sometimes,
Yeah.
and whenever we talk about these more, I'm going to say like esoterical concepts and in human design, sometimes when I ask questions, I know they're very difficult to respond to, because some of the things that we experience are not things that are easily put into words. And so, for you, there's a lot of things that you're trying to explain, but I mean, you put it so beautifully. So I'm going to say it's very like 5-1, very practical as well in the way that you say things. So thank you for translating that. And, you're talking about your decision-making process in the 28 days. And I feel like for you, that probably didn't feel too practical, marking it on the calendar and then going through that process. How did that feel? Was it a bit suffocating?
It was the pits. And it still is to the pits sometimes, where you've just go, oh, I've got to wait.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It's also saved me thousands of dollars.
I can imagine.
Because I have, and I joked about this the other day. I have gate 48. So I'm constantly like, and I've got a first line. So it's like, I need to learn all the things. And so now I literally will mark it and go, I really want to do this course. Oh my God, I need to, suddenly I want to, I want to be this. I want to learn this, because
Yeah.
my mind will just go there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll go, you need to wait. You can't be trusted, Annie. You cannot be trusted. And before you know it, as long as I like see that and I'm like, I'm waiting, I'm actively waiting. I'm like, oh yes, I just want to pay that $2,500 to do that course. And then all of a sudden it'd just be like, yeah, I actually really don't.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas if I had rushed that decision,
Mm-hmm.
I would have probably got 2 weeks into it, and then I would have got bored, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't actually want to do this after all. This is no. Mm-mm.
A lot of probably disappointment.
Yeah, it saves me money. It saves me money. It saves me time, and it allows me to get that hyper focus, for lack of better words, out of my system, because I want to do all the things.
Yeah.
It could be my profile as well and other things, but it's very much a reflector thing, where we want to experience it all and bring it all in and let me sample everything. And it's just like, yeah, our bank accounts can't always handle that. So no.
We don't. Yeah. Sometimes we need to be a little, realistic.
Yeah. Calm down, girl.
Yeah.
Calm down.
There, we have all the time in the world. Put this on a backlog, have a priority, Yeah, no, I mean, I'm also a splenic projector. So, I mean, I've made a lot of quick decisions that didn't end up well either. So, I mean, that's a different story. But anyways, I'm sure that when you make these decisions, and don't give yourself enough time, you've probably experienced a lot of that disappointment, right? That not self theme of disappointment. And I feel like that's a pretty easy theme to understand, right? It's like if you do something too rashly or too impulsively, then yes, of course, there's a lot of potential for being disappointment, reality not meeting expectations. But I think one thing that can be a little more tricky to understand and to see how that might be experienced in real life is that signature theme of surprise as a reflector. So if you could, and I know this is going to be like maybe not the easiest thing to respond to, but how do you experience surprise as a reflector? How have you experienced it in the past?
Very hard to surprise a reflector.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very hard.
You're like, nothing surprises me anymore.
It's surprise, I think, is something that is felt in the body. Like true surprise is felt in the body, and it's not something that somebody, wraps up a present and you just go, oh, I already knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I already knew that I was getting that. So thanks. Feigned surprise. True surprise is I like to think of it as that moment where suddenly you're smiling and you're experiencing this joy, and all of a sudden you open your eyes, or you just go, oh my gosh, where did that time go? Or what is happening? It literally takes you out of time. True surprise. It's the moment where you are delighted. It is joyful. It's
so funny. I was just thinking that word. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, because I know you got it. I was watching your face and I'm like, I know you feel it too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like delightful surprise. Like that is, I think, a good way to put it for people that are like, surprise. How's that? I don't want surprise. Some people don't like surprises, but yeah, it's just that wonder, that delight, like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And so, as a reflector, I feel like you're someone that has really stepped into your own skin as a reflector and going through your process. And so in, I guess, your earlier years in that deconditioning journey, what was the biggest challenge for you in stepping into where you are right now?
Ooh, forgiving myself for the pressure, the part of me that wanted to rush and wanted to be like other people and didn't accept that I wasn't like other people and it was okay to be me. So there was a lot of forgiveness that I had to give myself over the years of just going, you're not like everybody else, you were never like everybody else. You were you, and it was okay. It's okay to be a different person every day and put on different skins and masks and wigs and, not really, but,
Why not?
I know.
If they were cheap, why not?
Yeah, it's just, the deconditioning journey for me was very much, a process of forgiveness and also acceptance of going, it is okay to be you. But also the deconditioning process was very much learning about who I was. So even though I had to go back and forgive and just accept, I also needed to discover who I was, opposed to being everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's navigating the real world, I suppose, as a reflector. It's just like, well, I'm not everybody else. I'm me, even though I can put on all these masks and all these wigs.
Yeah.
I'm still me. But where am I? And in the moments when I get lost or when I'm in a crowd, I can find that anchor, which is me, and go, there you are. Because I don't have any definition. So I don't have an anchor, but I have myself.
Yes.
And when you find that you can go, there you are. There you are.
And I love that, because it's like when you're finding you don't need to put labels on it. You don't need to, it's just a knowing.
Yeah.
Right. That sensation. And so, you're just mentioning around your openness. There's nothing consistent, right, in the nature that, I guess, in the energies that you experience in your being. And so we always talk about profile kind of being kind of like a little anchor for reflectors, right? And so how has that 5-1 profile played out in your life? And let's just start with that one first, and then I'm sure we'll expand from there.
Well, we got a 5-1 and a reflector. So if we want to talk about invisibility, it's right there.
Yeah.
It smacks you in the face. So I have found that the 5th line has been a beautiful gift in the sense that I understand why I kind of like push through with things and why I need to like action and have this. I'm also a Leo. So it's just like, well, okay, well, I guess this is who I am. And I've got 6 gates in my throat and I've got things to say. But I also shy away because I have been burnt a lot from that projection field, that people do often look up to me and go, well, are you going to fix it? Are you going to fix it? Are you going to fix it? And so I think there's a song, she's a fixer, but what is it called? There's a song. Anyway, it's from a Toy Story. Yeah, I don't know.
A Toy Story?
Kids. Toy Story? You remember the movie Toy Story?
Yeah.
There's what does it say? She's a fixer with no one to fix her. Do you know this?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Sorry.
I need to, no, I need to watch. You're reminding me I need to rewatch.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain it's from Toy Story, but it always strikes me as a 5-1 song or a 5th line song. Because it's just like, we will go out of our way to fix everybody else, but we won't fix ourselves. So it's just like, oh. So yes, I have experienced the 5-1 brutally, but also lovingly. I'm still navigating that. There's times where I can accept it and just go, oh, well. But then there's other times where the invisibility cloak can be quite brutal, in that as a 5th line, everybody loves you when they love you, but when they're done with you, they'll just drop you.
Yeah.
Done. See you later. And it's like, oh, where am I?
I'm here. Hello.
Yeah. Hello. It's me.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah. Have you found it difficult to discern when someone's projecting on you because you experience yourself in so many different ways?
Yeah. Again, 5-1 reflector. I've never realized how much I would react even in my teens to people, just from their projection field onto me and reflecting what was happening with them back to them. So it was like a double projection field. It was just like, holy crap, like why is this happening to me? Now, if somebody kind of goes, oh my God, you are so amazing, you are the best of the best, I always kind of have a little bit of a chuckle.
Yeah.
And at the same time, also, if they're like, it doesn't happen these days too much, but if they do come at me and go, you are the worst person in the world, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yikes.
Hello, friend. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay, friend?
Do you need a nap?
Yeah. I've learned that even in the schoolyard, because obviously I still have young children, of just being able to accept whatever is coming at me through the lens of that person. So if a mum is having a bad day and maybe she's just cranky, being able to say, how are you going today? And not take it personally. So it's a good way that I've mitigated a lot of the projection field. Don't take it personally. Hard as to do, but I always just, again, is this me or is this them? Can I step out of this? What's happening here? There's so much goes through my head. It's actually quite amazing what goes through my head, but it's very much like if something hits me and I'm triggered by something, I'm able now to go, is this me? Is this them? What's happening? Can I support them? No. Do I need to step away? Yeah, get out. So that's a lot, isn't it? I just said that out loud.
Yeah. And is there like a common projection that you get that is totally not, that you don't feel is you?
It's generally, why didn't you help me with this?
Yeah.
I thought that you could help me with this. So it's generally along those lines of, why didn't you help me with this? And I thought you could help me with this.
Yeah.
And it's very, again, I've got to go, I didn't say a word. I was just here. And then I can now, again, going back, I can say to someone, would you like my help? Or if I can't help them, I'm just like, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Flipping that switch has saved many a friendship.
That's a great strategy. I need to let all the 5-1s know this, right? Flip that around.
Flip the switch. It's just, it's something coming at you, then just, I don't know, it doesn't always work, but what is the Anchorman saying? 66% of the time it works every time.
I love that movie, by the way. I'm a huge Will Ferrell. Stupid funny, but I'm all for it. I love it. Yeah, no, it's a perfect expression for that, right? And so, you do a lot to support the people around you, right? As a reflector and especially as a 5-1. But how can us non-reflectors support how can us non-reflectors support the reflectors that we do have in our lives? Because we don't often know how to, I'm going to say, handle these types of relationships, or how to support you in a way that's different from us needing to support ourselves.
I think projectors have a really good handle on reflectors. But I think just from my personal experience, sometimes get out of your own head and ask your reflector friend, are you okay? And actively hear what they're saying, opposed to you thinking about what you think they need or what you think they're going through. Because they might surprise you as into what they say. And when they do come back to you, just listen. Just listen to what they've got to say, because you'll probably truly hear what's going on with them. Don't take it personally. Because a lot of the time they're there for you more than you are for them. And they need you sometimes more than you need them. Big thing. But they often will be too busy supporting you that they'll forget about themselves, or you won't see them, because your issues or what's happening in your life will be a bigger deal than what's happening to them. So that's my advice. I think support them by shutting up and asking them, hey, how are you, friend? How are you doing today?
Not assuming. Shut up. Listen. Take it all in.
Yeah.
And I feel like, in doing that, we, like you said, we become surprised often by what's said, or we get new insights from the situation that we probably wouldn't have received if we were, again, just not listening, not paying attention. And
do you know what the beautiful thing about that is? When you get surprised, we also get surprised because we feel that.
Yes. Yep.
So it's a double win.
It is. Ugh. And for any new reflectors, no, not new reflectors, of course, they were reflectors from the moment they were born. It's funny. There was this, there's this meme on Instagram, or this reel, and it was this guy doing this interview, or, showing up live for the first time. And he's like, hi, this is my first time speaking. He's like, no, never mind. This is not my first time speaking. I've always spoken it before. So it just reminds me of that.
We say that as well. It's like, I'm a new reflector. Oh, actually, I've always been a reflector, but I'm new to discovering it.
Exactly. Exactly. And so for any people who are newly discovering that they're reflectors, what advice would you give them in their experiment, in their deconditioning journey?
Oh, that's a good one. I think, and you're going to hate to hear this, but you need to take your time. You can go read all the books. You can go and sample all of the podcasts, listen to what everybody else has got to say, go and have all the readings in the world. But it takes time. So, first things first, find good people around you, find good resources such as this. Listen to real reflectors talking about their experiment. Navigate that profile of yours because that's going to help. Understand your centers and the openness that each one has. And look at the beautiful gates that you've got in there, because even though we don't have definition, we have the gates in those, and they are a part of our anchorage. So for us, even though we don't have the definition of any centers, the gates are very important to us. And when you look at where they are throughout your whole chart, it's this spells a theme for you. Your incarnation cross, which is the sun and earth in your personality and design, it means a lot to you. Your profile means a lot to you. Find the support of your fellow reflector mates, friends. My Australianism kicking in. Find those groups. Lean in, because you're not alone. You're not alone in this, and you're not as rare as you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Beautiful words of wisdom. And, I think the first resource is Annie's Reflector podcast. So many, I was going to say like real reflectors, obviously they're real reflectors, but so many reflectors that you can just sit and listen to and resonate with and, reach out to. And so, Annie, do you do anything or offer anything right now in terms of supporting reflectors in your community? And how can people reach out and find you?
So you can reach me through the Reflector Reflections podcast. I'm on Instagram, YouTube. I'm not on Facebook. I also do a lot of mentoring around human design. I've stopped doing readings, but I'm doing a lot of mentoring around navigating where people are in that reflector journey. I work a lot with pregnancy, postpartum, and the journey of mattress sense with women. It's one of my specialties. It's something that I just love doing. That's my jam.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Reflector Reflections podcast is a passion project of mine. And if you need support, please reach out.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I love what you're doing. And I just want to thank you for all the wisdom that you've shared with us today. And I guess to wrap things up, the last thing I always like to ask is, what's your favorite quote or mantra that you have?
We are all just walking each other home. That's it. We are all just walking each other home. Yeah.
Simple, profound. Yep. There's the heretic really shining through. Leaving with a bam, with the mind blown. If I had if I could put an emoji there, it would be the mind blown emoji with the Zen right beside it. I love it. Thank you so much, Annie, for being here with us today. I appreciate you, your wisdom, your energy.